Welcome, welcome, everyone. You are tuned in to Mo Money Mondays here on All About Us Radio. I am so excited. You know, we are really blowing up here at All About Us Radio. I mean, we are giving a brand new experience. We are on more than 30 platforms now. You can reach us on the web, on desktop, on television. I mean, technology is amazing and we are really doing our thing. So I am so happy to have y'all here with me tonight of all the places you could have been. So excited that you are here with me. I am your host, Vonda, and I am also CEO of the Jameson Legacy Group, where I always ask, what kind of legacy do you want to create? And then my other question is always, how y'all gonna get to 100? What we gonna live on? So I'm always reminding people to save, 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 and be conscious of how you use your money. Not just spending your money, but how you use your money. So we're going to talk about it. I was in the chat room today with some other experts, I'll call them, and some really interesting things came up. And I wanted to share maybe a little bit of what I've been going through. I want to encourage you guys. We are getting to that place in the year, right? The holiday time where everyone is, if you've gone back to work, I pray and hope that you will have a bonus coming at the end of this year. I mean, heck, y'all should get a bonus just because you hung in there. If you are still with the same company that you were in through the pandemic and you endured and you worked for them at home and then you went back into the office and then maybe you worked in the office for 2 or 3 days a week and at home for a couple days a week and you kind of mixed it up a little bit. I mean, it was a lot. The going back and forth, the getting used to being back in the office, and then, oh no, but you can work at home. Some of us chose to work at home. Some of us chose to do a little bit of both, right? Go in the office. I've heard of routines like every other week, or some people were doing it every 3 days a week, mixing it up. But if you did all of that, and you were loyal and dedicated like that to your company, I sure do hope that you are going to get a bonus or some kind of signature of appreciation from your employer. But the one thing that I have been learning about is that a lot of people didn't go back to work, right? We had a lot of folks deciding to branch out on their own and do their own business. Or maybe they went back to work, but they developed a business of their own during the pandemic. There was a lot of that going on. I'm a fan of it, you guys. I'm really a fan. I have some beliefs that I stick to. One is that you should surround yourself with like-minded people. I think that in our solitude, once we were able to break back into society, so to speak, once we were outside, we were allowed to be outside. How many of you think that maybe you chose differently? Did you lose some friends? Did you lose some people? Or did you decide to perhaps dismiss some people? I know I did. A lot of things changed for me. My focus pivoted. My focus was different. And the conversations that I was able to tolerate or have interest in were different. That changed for me. So, yeah, I began to surround myself with people that were on the same page, people that were building like me, people that were interested in the success or interested in their own entrepreneurship. I found a couple of groups that reflected that. So I partnered with other people in business where we were able to exchange resources and leverage one another, right, and use each other in and for our own business. So yeah, surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Another thing that I learned is that we don't have to trade time for money anymore, you all. So, what does that mean? We don't have to trade time for money. I think that that is an old generational format of working. And I think that it's beginning to look very different, especially among the millennials, right? We are the workforce is looking different. People are working different. People are being contracted different, right? So you're working for yourselves, but you're providing a service for a corporation. I must say for the options for working for yourself in serving a larger company, that's looking different, where people are able to call their own shots, to make their own rules, to develop their own contracts in delivering their business. But whatever it is you've decided to do, and if you have decided to work for yourself or dip your toe in that entrepreneur pond, I want you to know that it is normal to have doubts. I heard a great line today that says, being an entrepreneur means that you fail forward. Mm, let's just chew on that for a moment. Being an entrepreneur means that you fail forward. That's kind of heavy, because we are famous for getting in our own way, right? How many of you have experienced that? I mean, I know I'm always trying to get out of my own way. In fact, once I realize I'm in my way, I need help trying to figure out how to get out of my own way, right? But there are going to be peaks and valleys, right? When we're trying to create this dream and create the funding for the lifestyle that we would like to live and enjoy. Nothing wrong with that. We deserve it. Number one, I had to wrap my head around that. I absolutely deserve to live the lifestyle that I want, but I need to be able to afford to live that lifestyle as well. So, the failing part, the sometimes we get discouraged. I just want you to know that it is common. And every entrepreneur, every person in business, starting business, running business, building business, we all have doubts. And there will always be a time where it gets a little tough. But that's why you need to surround yourself with like minded people. You need to have people already lined up that can pull you up because they understand what you're going through. And chances are we're not all going through it at the same time. I may be in I may be in real success mode right now. Somebody else is struggling, so I can really help them. I can keep them encouraged. I can remind them how much they're helping doing whatever it is that they're doing in their business, and that this is just a moment. So I just wanted to share that with you. I had some great conversations today about being in business. Another thing that I heard was that, oh, okay, here's a good one. Somebody reminded me that stress and pressure are sometimes the best way for us to grow, right? To step into our uncomfortable place, right? Because when you're stressed, you're not very comfortable. Would you say? I know I'm not very comfortable when I'm stressed. You kind of don't know what to do. It's an uncomfortable place. But that pressure can, if we use that energy the right way, that pressure can really send us into a place of expansion and hopefully success. So the analogy that I heard was that, diamonds, are created from pressure. Oh, I love that one. I was like, yes, because I'm a diamond. And I have a saying. Sometimes I used to be like, I'm a diamond. I'm a diamond, but I'm still in rock form. I'm still in coal form, but I'm getting there. But when we get to that place where we really shine, how about that? So we need that pressure sometimes so that we can shine, so that we can discover uh, that potential that perhaps we did not know that we had until we were faced with the pressure. I love that. That's yummy. That's yummy. And then, I've been doing some, this is really what I wanted to share with y'all. I am determined to teach you how to manifest. So, what does that mean? Teach you how to manifest. Well, most of us already know how to pray, right? And if you haven't tried it, sit down with yourself and pray. Pray to God, pray to Allah, pray to Source, pray to whoever that higher being is for you, that force that is greater or feels greater than you, that force that is that phenomenon that we cannot explain. So whatever that is, whoever that is for you, you know, manifesting, we can do that through meditation, but it's something I'm really fascinated by, because the idea that we have the capacity to create with our intention and our soul and our prayer. Y'all, that's really dope. That's fierce. And I feel like we are so powerful, but we've been conditioned to not know it. I don't think they want us to know how powerful we are. Can you imagine if we really understood how powerful we are? We wouldn't need we wouldn't need them, would we? We wouldn't need that employer. We wouldn't need the corporation. We might not need them. And how would they survive without us? Now, y'all know who they is. I'm using air quotes, so I'm just going to leave it at they. But so I've been studying some really wonderful dynamics around manifesting. And I've been putting them in practice because, I figured who else to practice on than myself. And once I can get it down to a formula that I can share and that I can teach, I can help everyone else learn how to manifest as well. So we know that prayer is a great way to manifest, right? When we pray, it's a matter of having faith. It's a matter of believing, right? Because we believe that this should happen for us. Or are we begging when we pray? How do you pray? I don't beg. I actually demand. I deserve it. This is my mindset that I've stepped into. So, and manifesting is prayer. So I always say, or should I say, it is said that we need to be careful what we think and what we say, because how does God know what is a prayer and what is not? So you've heard that we need to be careful what comes out of our mouth, right? Because that can be construed as a prayer as well. So when I remember that, it forces me to be encouraged in my thinking and optimistic in my thinking, and really rid of self-doubt in my thinking. Because, when it comes to funding our lives and our financial circumstances, it's all in our mind. I know you may think it's in your pocket, but it starts in our mind. Because if we can create our circumstances with just our mind, and we can, our mind, our prayer, our faith, then why don't we have what we want? And this is what I want to teach. So I'm practicing on all of you. I am starting with myself. I'm my own guinea pig, okay? But I do know that poverty, y'all. A lot of us know what that is. There are different levels of poverty. I have experienced it, so I'm familiar. Poverty is, would you say, the main cause of the unrest? It's kind of like a disease, and it affects all of us. For those of us that have experienced poverty. So, how can we remove poverty or the perception of poverty? Is it a perception? I think it is a perception because I know families that live in poverty that are rich as can be, and they know they're rich because they have love and they have family and they have everything they need. But others would classify them as living in poverty, but they do not perceive themselves as a family in poverty. So is it a mindset? I want you to lean into that a little. So if we can remove the idea of poverty by shifting our thinking, shifting our mindset, does the evil disappear? Can it? I think we should practice. Because once we change our attitude, right, towards poverty, towards our financial situation, can we not change everything else? Do you believe that once you change yourself from the inside out, everything around you will change as a result? I do. I've seen it. I'm living proof of it. Once I've adjusted my attitude, once I've adjusted my perspective, I relate to people differently. So I'm treated differently. Interesting, huh? So, what if we did that in regards to our financial temperature, climate, circumstances? If we began to think differently about our money game, yeah, if we begin to think differently about our money game, change our attitude towards our money. I have people that say to me, "Oh, well, I'm broke today. I'm broke." And I'm like, don't be claiming that. Why are you? We don't use those words. I might be financially challenged right now. I'll have more next week. That's actually not in my budget this week. There are so many other ways to call that because remember, misfortune comes from one's mouth. So, never broke. Never broke. Many of us think that money is power. I want to touch on that for just a moment. My father used to think that money was power. The bigger the wad, the more power he had. But y'all, that's so not so. That's not the truth. Once again, it's a story that we've been told that we believe. But there's no money in the dollar. I'm sorry. Let me say that again. There's no power in the dollar. There's no power in the money. The power is in us. We give money power. All on its own, money doesn't have any power. Once again, it's currency. Money is energy, right? But the energy can only be transferred with us, the human, or otherwise it can't make it anywhere without us. It can't do what it does without us. So we actually give money power. So that means that the power is within us. Ooh, isn't that deep? I like that one. I like that one. So that means that health, happiness, and prosperity really relies on us to develop, to create, to manifest. And we can do that all starting with our attitude, our mindset, right? You know, there's a saying that money doesn't grow on trees. You ever heard that one? Who says that? How do you know? How do we know that's true? Where do we get that that's true? I don't know. I disagree. Why can't money grow on trees? Why can't money be abundant like that? Why have we been so conditioned to the idea that money is scarce and that we have to work really hard for it and that it is only for some in abundance? It is only for some people. Where did we get that story from? I don't know where I got it from, but I know that I believed that for a very, very long time. So I began to change my mindset. I began to practice a few mantras, and I want to invite you to do the same. I began to kind of, I guess, meditate to myself with my own affirmations. And I decided that rather than me wanting money, how about the money? Money needs me. The money wants me. The money can't do anything without me. And when I started to really lean into that perspective, things began to change because then I understood that my clients want me. My clients need me. And I began to say this over and over to myself. Money comes to me in abundance, divinely and with ease. Ooh, let me say that again. Money finds me. Money comes to me divinely and with ease. That's powerful. Anyway, so yeah, it has been an exciting journey. And so let me tell you what some of the results are, because I know y'all just listening going, okay, well, that sounds really nice. But as I began to practice this on a daily basis, in the morning and in the evening, with my affirmations of how money is waiting to meet me, money can't wait to come into my path. My clients cannot wait to give me their money. I came up with all sorts of affirmations, okay, regarding how eager this money was to get, and discussing the eagerness of me wanting or needing money. How about that? It was an interesting perspective, but things began to happen. And I had a friend who I helped during the pandemic. This is how it started. And so what? That was over a year ago in the summer. I would go to some of the food lines and I would wait online and I would collect some of the groceries and I would distribute them to the folks in need in my community. And for the entire summer or more, I think maybe when did that start? Last summer. We did that for maybe May until August or September. Every Saturday, I stood online. And I knew a gentleman who was an elder like me. And I brought him food every Saturday because that's what you do when you're the one that can, right? That's what I'm here for. I serve. That's what I do. That's my calling. And so, and I did that until there was no more food being distributed, and that was the end of that. And I haven't talked to him since then. I don't really know how he was. I tried to check in, never answered the phone, didn't get a response. And so, don't you know, a couple of weeks ago, I got a call, and this man was just, I could hear him grinning through the phone, stepping all over himself to want to get to Vonda. When can you come by? And I said, well, why, whatever do I need to come by for? He said, I can't tell you. It's a surprise. I said, okay. I don't know. I'm real busy. He said, please, 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 Miss Vonda, come on by. So I did. I went by. In fact, I forgot to go by. And he called and reminded me a few days later to come on by. And so I did. And he opened up the door just as excited, like a little kid. He was stepping with a pep in his gait that I had never seen. Whatever his ailments were from the previous year, they were gone. His hair was thick and bushy and grown. His smile from ear to ear, his life condition just vibrant and high and bright. And I thought to myself, this is a different person. And he handed me an envelope. And the envelope had $500 bills in it. And I said, "Oh, my friend, there is no way I can accept this." And he said, "But my dear, you helped me so much. You are the reason that I was able to sustain during that time last summer." And I argued back and forth for just a moment. No, 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 no. And he said, "I will not take it back, and I insist." And I want y'all to know that I came home with five $100 bills in an envelope, and I cried like a baby. I sobbed. I sobbed in gratitude. I sobbed in appreciation. I sobbed because I realized that when you have the prayer and you begin to manifest, it is not up to you to determine what that looks like. It is not up to you to determine how the blessing comes. And that was a lot for me to wrap my head around. So I sobbed a little more, and my heart was so full with appreciation. And I got it. And I was able to accept it in my soul and receive it. And from that, it just began to pour. It just began to pour. I had people throwing money at me. I mean, throwing money at me. And the more I said no, the more they threw money at me. I just went to visit, and people were trying to put money in my hand just for me visiting. And thank you for sharing these nuggets. And I said, no, 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 no. There's no charge for this. This is not for money. And people insisting everywhere. But remember the prayer. Money comes to me in abundance, divinely and with ease. But I never expected that meant other people would be the carrier. But we cannot say what it looks like, right? And then I went to one of my precinct meetings last Wednesday night. And what do you think happened? Well, it didn't come through a person, but there was a raffle. And don't you know, I won the raffle. And I said to myself, well, this is about the 6th time that these blessings have happened for me in the last 10 days. I think I'm going to keep on with my affirmations every morning, every evening, and I am going to master the art of manifesting. And so I encourage all of you, prayer, meditation, whatever you want to call it, we all have the ability to call it to us. We can manifest anything once we transform our mindset and understand that we are abundant and we deserve abundance. Okay, y'all. So what's your money game? Okay, make it happen. You can make it rain. I'm here to show you how. So you are here with me, Vonda. I am your host tonight on Mo Money Mondays. You're listening to All About Us Radio. We've been talking about manifesting and attracting abundance of money, of love, of happiness, of harmony. We can attract anything we want. We can call it into our lives. Okay, so I can't wait to hear your stories. I hope you'll drop me some lines about how your manifesting is going. But for now, we're going to go to commercial. And when I come back, I've got a special guest who's calling in. So she's going to help us just a little bit more on how we can make the most of our financial situation. We'll be right back.
Hello, this is Najesti from Butter Me Essentials, Natural Hair and Body Company. We are located in Brooklyn, New York. We are a family-owned company, which is run by my husband, Vaden, and I. Do you have hair that is hard to manage? Having trouble with hair growth? Is your skin always dry? No problem. Butter Me Essentials is here with the solution. We specialize in hair butters, pomades, hair elixirs, shampoos, conditioners, luxury soaps, body butters, lotion bars, perfumes, scrubs, and so much more. All of our products is made with natural and organic ingredients such as shea butter, cocoa butter, mango butter, Jamaican black castor oil, avocado oil, Oregon oil, and essential oils. There is no sulfates, petroleum, mineral oils, or parabens, just all natural goodness. If you would like to order our products, check out our website at buttermeessentials.com, buttermeessentials.com, or call 646-524-3351, 646-524-3351. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Remember, like our motto says, you deserve to be buttered.
Back. Welcome to All About Us Radio. I am your host, Vonda. You are listening to Mo Money Mondays. And our guest tonight is Ashonda Davis. She is an amazing wealth advisor. And so let me just give you a little background because you guys connecting and, doing business looks so different these days. And I met Ashonda on LinkedIn. What an amazing platform for business, right? We were talking about entrepreneurship a little bit earlier and building and growing your business. So it's a great way to start. I always say keep your corporate job, but just understand that paycheck should be funding your business. And LinkedIn is a great way to start. And so I've met so many fabulous entrepreneurs and professionals on LinkedIn, and Ashonda Davis is one of them. She's a Southern girl. I think she's out of the Atlanta area, and she is a financial advisor, planner, but she's also an author. And that's what really attracted me is that she has done some amazing things in her career. The most recent is developing a book called Wealth Over Riches. And, her market, of course, are people, human beings, but she is particular to the Black man. And I found that so interesting. But, there is a difference about how Black male versus female perceives money, how they treat money, how they dress with their money, how they use their money. And I found that fascinating, a fascinating distinction, one that I actually hadn't really taken notice of. I mean, yeah, we do know that men prefer cars and women may prefer Coach bags. Like there's a difference in that sense. But ultimately, that the treatment fundamentally, when you are working with somebody in their finances, you need to make the distinction of male, female. And I thought that was really, anyway, she has done some incredible research and really become a voice for those that are seeking and interested in learning more, becoming more financially literate. And so I am excited to share her with you tonight. And she is on the line. So let's see if we can get it popping. Give me just a second. Let's see. My six-figure lady. Okay, where are we here? Give me a second, guys. Okay, we're ready to roll. Ashonda, are you on the line? Are you there?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Mo Money Mondays.
I'm excited to be here. you are a financial advisor, and I would love for you to speak a little bit to why it's important and why we should work with a financial advisor.
Absolutely. And just before I answer that great question, I want to ask all of your listeners to just do me a quick favor, and that's to please evaluate your financial language.
Uh-oh, I think we're having a little glitch here. Okay, guys, just give me a moment. I'm going to get it together. Give me a moment. Let's see. Oh, I've lost it. I've lost the call. Okay. We're going to pick it back up again. She's going to take you through a couple of really wonderful prompts. Let's see. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Okay. Let's start it again. Here we go.
Absolutely. And just before I answer that great question, I want to ask all of your listeners to just do me a quick favor, and that's to please evaluate your financial language. Some people are savers. So my question is, are you a saver? Are you an investor? Are you a spender? Are you an avoider? But then next, I want you to really sort them in the order that relates the most to you down to the one that relates least. The reason why I want your listeners to do that for me, and before I answer the question, is because that's going to help us to identify your primary financial language as well as your secondary. And I want you to lean into, because most people, they have their first financial language down pat, but I want them to really lean into the next area where they can hopefully receive value from this conversation. So with that in mind, I think it's very important to work with a financial advisor. And let me just share my story. When I was 27 years old, I spoke to my first financial advisor, Vonda. And I was really looking to be financially sound, fiscally responsible, just all of that. But yet I wasn't making any more than about $32,000 a year. Okay. Like I was 27.
Right. Those are the days.
Right. But what was interesting for me was that the first financial advisor I spoke to, and please, I'm going to be transparent so that people can really understand my story, was a Caucasian male who was about 2 times my age. And because I was only making $32,000 and I probably only had about $1,000 in the bank, I was not his ideal client. And so I felt like he took the appointment out of obligation, and to appease me, but not really to help me, not to add value. And so I left that conversation with that feeling, with that knowledge, and decided, okay, well, this is not going to be my last. So 2 years later, I spoke to my second financial advisor. Again, Caucasian male who I love and appreciate to this day, but he talked so much, Vonda. I thought I was Charlie Brown listening to his mother, honestly. And so what he ended up helping me with, though, was that of a Roth IRA. I started investing $50 a month into the mutual funds he selected. Didn't really have any affinity to the account. Didn't really understand the true purpose. I knew it was for retirement, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, around 3 years later, I went to a Dave Ramsey. I'm sure you're familiar with him, Financial Peace University course. Yes. And not one, but 2. And yet what I found was that the information was so great. The tips were on point, but I still didn't have anyone to work with me one-on-one to identify what I was doing well, but more importantly, my blind spots. Right. And that's why I wanted your listeners to lean into their secondary language. What are you doing well, but what are you not even aware that you should ask yourself financially, right? So a financial advisor helps you to do 3 things, in my honest opinion. 1, just slow down from the rat race of trying to earn our income and our revenue and really evaluate what is financially important, but also more importantly, relevant to you. And then B, it helps you to, or we should help you to prioritize your goals. Which goals are most important to you to accomplish in the next 24 hours, 90 days, 3 years? And then C, most importantly, is like I mentioned, helping you to discover your blind spots. What are you doing wrong that you didn't know that you were doing wrong? Are you saving too little, investing aggressively or not aggressive enough? Are you avoiding looking at your finances and or your portfolio? And are you spending more on consumables than concentrated assets?
Right.
A financial advisor should be able to help you with those things.
I love it. Okay, I think that you really hit something. I love that you said that you approach your clients with the thought of what do you do really well
Mhm.
and where are your pain points? Where do you struggle?
Mhm.
A really important question, because there are things that we do well. And I think that we have so much guilt and shame that, our finances may not be where we want them to be. So I think it's a really great attribute to be able to help people find where they're doing well so they can move forward with a little bit more ease. I feel like that kind of lightens the pain just a little bit.
I totally agree. I sat down with a client yesterday, and I hope this is okay. And she's a new client, but yesterday's conversation was a consultation.
Mm-hmm.
I kept hearing the word fear.
Mm-hmm.
So afraid.
Yeah.
I saw this with my mom. I vowed to myself I'd never do it again. I had a major calamity, and I didn't know that my father wasn't going to come through for me, and I had to figure it out on my own. I never want that to happen again because I'm afraid of that feeling. You're absolutely right. Just as much as finances are strategic, they are also emotional. And when we can identify that and then identify how we feel about them and then add strategies to help us, we move further down the road.
Agreed. Planning, planning, planning. So, Ashonda, you also describe yourself. I see that you describe yourself as a financier that works with clients to create what you call a holistic financial plan. So, I would love for you to share, what exactly do you mean by holistic? I love the way it sounds, but what really does it mean?
Absolutely. Well, let me first say that my passion is helping my progressive and affluent clients to dominate in their finances, but also their holistic financial planning. They are distinctly different. Now, the process that I take my clients through usually starts not only with identifying their goals, but really finding money that they're currently losing unknowingly and unnecessarily. And I call those your wealth transfers. But I would say that scholarly wisdom and study has shown that we should protect our assets with the adequate insurance against the risks that can happen while we're building our wealth. And so for me, what makes me unique in the industry is really believing that I have more opportunity to help more of my clients avoid and minimize financial losses than just selecting the best performing stocks on the S&P. So how holistic financial planning is really about evaluating all of the major pieces of their financial plan and all of the subsets and subcategories of each. And then, like I said, not only identifying their level of importance to you, but what order should we place them in terms of actionable items. And then really customizing and developing a strategy. It's not always about a policy. Sometimes it's really about a strategy that's tailored to fit that client.
Are you there?
Mm-hmm. I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think we lost you for that last. Will you repeat that?
Sure. So really helping to customize a strategy that's tailored to fit the client based on their holistic financial plan. And again, there's usually 8 major components, but there are subsets of each one of those.
Mm-hmm. I love strategies. And I agree. It's all about strategies. The idea of wealth transfer, I refer to it as reallocating funds, but I love the concept of wealth transfers because that's really what it is. That's beautiful. You also, I've noticed that you identify one of your markets as Black and brown men specifically. So, and this seems like an intentional demographic that you've chosen. So, what exactly are you doing? Because I get that something's going on here with this particular market. Tell me, tell me, tell me.
Well, Vonda, God started with men, so I thought I should also.
Mm.
But no, in addition to that, I say that seriously, but also jokingly, just because this topic sometimes can be quite heavy. But regardless of also the constructs of our society today, that shows us that, Black women, we are in some cases, according to statistics, making more than our Black male counterparts. In my 12 years of experience as a holistic financial advisor, and in the thousands of professionals that I've either consulted with or acquired as clients, I'm finding that more Black men still are financially solvent and relevant. So my two reasons, one is personal. I look to my father for wisdom and my mother for nurturing. And so in understanding this, I asked myself early on, I said, how much further along could I have been if my father and his father, who made decent livings, were taught about legacy wealth, if they were taught about seed capital,
Oh, wow.
if they helped to teach me about career choice that's based on both passion and profit, elevated money management strategies, and some of Rockefeller's wealth accumulation strategies. Well, how much further down the road could I have been, right? So that's personal. But then, I ran across a study that strikingly showed that even if you take Black and white boys raised in a family with the same income level, even in high income level households, you see that Black boys end up with very different outcomes on average relative to white boys.
Why do you think that is?
From what we've seen is that they're less likely to complete high school, unfortunately, less likely to go to college, of course, become incarcerated, have a hit against their criminal record, that they typically are in significantly lower earning positions in their adulthood. And this phenomenon is interestingly applying more so to Black men. And that's heartbreaking. So this is something that's unique to what's happening. And I hope to help to change that narrative. I hope to empower. And Vonda, let me also pause for just a second. I work with clients, and when I say a progressive as well as affluent, they're typically in different income brackets. My progressive professionals are probably somewhere between 50,000 to 150,000 in income, but they typically have, somewhere between a $500 to $1,000 discretionary spend. Mm-hmm. My affluent clients are making north of 300,000 with probably somewhere just shy of or north of $1 million in portfolio assets. So what we're trying to do is say that financial planning and holistic financial planning is not exclusive to just individuals who have high net earnings, right? We can start with individuals who probably are, whether blue collar or white collar, but they're making 85K. Right. Issue is, how much are we spending? The issue is, how are we segmenting our dollars? Those become the greater issues. And so I don't want to focus on the disparities, but I'm saying, listen, how can we empower ourselves with what we have?
And this speaks to generational wealth for sure.
Yes,
an amazing way to create that change. So this is a little off, but I would love to hear about your success rate. What types of, how do you seek out this particular demographic? Because I know that as a brown person, especially being male, that may not be something that we're all like raising our hands to say, pick me, I'd love to work with you and talk about my money. So how do you win them over? What does that trust factor look like?
I think that's a very interesting question. Let me say this, a lot of our Black men aren't taught to ask questions nor ask for help.
Correct.
Right? A husband and wife can be traveling on the road and the wife says, babe, hey, we're supposed to be turning left. And he says, no.
Right.
So we'll figure this out, right?
Breaks loose.
So we understand that dynamic. However, I'm not exactly sure. I wish I could have a very concise answer as to how I win Black men over, why I've had such a high success rate, why Black men are consistently being referred to me. All I can say is that I try to be authentic and help them to see that I have their best interest at heart. Help them to see that while they are the quarterbacks of their lives, I try to be the defender, right? I want to be a part of their defensive team. So I don't know.
Very powerful. Well, because you discussed being in your 20s and sitting down with people that didn't look like you. There is a trust factor there. There is a relatedness that needs to happen. So I was just interested. I think you answered the question beautifully, and it makes perfect sense. I just want to applaud you for really taking that initiative, because there are very few ways that I have recognized that people actually extend themselves to really help, quote unquote, the Black man. And you're right, many do not like to ask for help, and it is not easy to reach. That olive branch is not always accepted. So I really applaud your tenacity.
Thank you.
And I think it's a beautiful thing. So with this mission, I just talked about the generational wealth. Is that important? How far back have you been able to affect that? What's one of your greatest stories maybe that you'd like to share?
That's a great question.
Really assisting a family where you knew that, like, I have literally changed their family tree from this moment forward.
Yeah. I think there are so many stories to select from, and this is a great question that's on the spot. No, it's fine. I have a book where I sent out a poll to several of my men clients specifically, who are married, who are single, some who are homosexual, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked them, what value did I add to their lives? What value did I add to their financial plan? And why did they select me? Right? I needed to drill down in that ideal and unpack it a little bit. And I wish I had it here with me, but I have approximately 20 strong stories from those who responded. And I had comments such as these: Ashonda, I was looking to reverse engineer my plan, and I didn't know exactly what to put into the equation. I have other clients who said, Ashonda, you helped to bring balance to the conversation my wife and I have been having for years, but hadn't made any success.
Beautiful.
I had men who say, I didn't know how to invest, both in myself, in my concentrated business efforts, but also in the market. I didn't know how to look at investment from those standpoints or vantage points. And so one particular client he's married, has 2 children, takes care of his sister and niece, and owns a barbershop, and has 2 actually in different areas of Georgia. And he said, Ashonda, you're my financial GPS. You help provide turn by turn actions that are going to direct my family in the way that we desire to go. He said, I appreciate you for that. So
it's beautiful.
It's
so heartwarming. I there's nothing like it when you know that you've really touched a family at that level of core, like to really, really make a change. You should be proud of yourself. You really should.
It keeps me going.
I love the work that you're doing.
And it wakes me up every day.
Wakes you up every day. Yeah. It's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, well, before I let you go, I have to touch on this. We are in a particular climate right now. I call it an auspicious climate, with this Black Lives Matters movement. And so how have you chosen to support this social justice for change? Have you done anything specific? Of course, I've already heard so much of what you're doing, but have you created, anything new or anything different where you've really said, like, this sings to my heart and I need to do this at this moment, at this time, like intentionally?
You know what, Vonda? I'm actually surprising myself because I'm actually emotional around this particular question, because there have been so many men's lives who have been snuffed out prematurely, and so many women's tears who have shed over the years, over the centuries. And it dates back well before 400 years. But I'll say that prior to George Floyd being another catalyst, because he's not the only. Let me be very, and I hope you hear my heart. George Floyd, the way that his life was taken, demonstrated to white America what is happening and been happening to Black men. Compounded with the Ahmaud Arbery situation and Breonna Taylor. But I had to speak to those specifically because prior to, these specific instances and unfortunate deaths, untimely and premature, I was writing a book. So first of all, I have a book that's titled Wealth Over Riches, 10 Principles to Shift from Looking Rich to Building Wealth Habits. And I started off the year realizing that Black men of color, were going to be my predominant and intentional target market. Not to say that I will not continue to serve women and individuals of all nationalities and races, but I wanted to target my focus on men. And so I started men's edition to Wealth Over Riches. And it has been a collaborative effort of men sharing their stories in addition to the principles that will accompany each chapter. And the situation, not just the pandemic or our social climate, our political injustices, it hasn't steered me, it's only invigorated me to make sure that my project is complete by the October 2020 date that I've set for myself. And I'm actually on a platform to speak to 200 Black men in October. And so it just proved to me that I'm on the right path. It validated it, and I pray that we're in a place where pivotal change will occur, not from talk, but action.
I applaud you. I applaud you, Queen. I'm excited to read your book, Wealth Over Riches. Wealth Over Riches by Ashonda Davis. It's a beautiful cover, by the way. And you are so beautiful. You really are. So I'm sure that those men don't mind sitting down with you as well. I want to really thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule. I know it's been so difficult to finally find the best time for us. I hope the family is well and everyone is staying safe on your side of the country down there in the South. I hope to visit very, very soon. I will be in Atlanta. Maybe we can get together and have a coffee.
You better give me a call and let me know so I can definitely take you out for coffee.
I certainly will. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Ashonda Davis, please read her book, Wealth Over Riches. You are amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. We need you.
Thank you. And Vonda, if I can, I just wanted to share with your listeners that you all can find me at AD_the Financial Advisor on Instagram and on LinkedIn as Ashonda Davis, ASHAUNDA. And as you just mentioned, my book is on my website, www.ashondadavis.com. And thank you, Queen, for the work that you do to empower us on a continuous basis with your energy, with your effort, and with your impact.
Now, Ashonda, let everyone know what part of the country you're in.
I am in Atlanta, Georgia.
She's in Atlanta, guys. And give us your website one more time.
Sure. www.ashonda, ASHAUNDA, Davis.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
We have it. Wasn't that great? Oh, so exciting. But you guys, we are out of time. I've had so much fun here with you this evening. And wasn't that wonderful? The lovely, eloquent, gracious Ashonda Davis. We are so thankful that she was able to join us this evening. So you have been listening to All About Us Radio, where we are offering brand new experiences. We are exploding, guys. Looking so forward to this journey with you. So Thanksgiving is upon us. Friendsgiving. We've got so many different names these days. But I want to offer blessings, prayers for wonderful family and friend time. Please enjoy. Stay safe. Stay woke. And live each day with intention. This is Vonda. You've been listening to Mo Money Mondays. We'll see you next week.